on YouTube? This your boy Oscino Fly back with another review, and this time we are reviewing Mortal Kombat. Excuse me. We are reviewing. Like, look, that's how you gotta say it. One of the biggest fighting game franchises of all time, definitely in the top 3. It's one of the most respected video games, technically one of the respected fighting game franchises. A franchise with a lot of characters, but a lot of memorable characters, a lot of good quotes. To me, is like I said, one of the, most people, one of the best fighting games. But I'm more of a Street Fighter person, don't get me wrong. I always felt like the games were kind of stiff except for the last 3. The last 3 are really good. But as a franchise, it's probably has one of the deepest stories out of most fighting games. If y'all done seen the old fighting Mortal Kombat movies, they're very cheesy, they're very bad, but they're enjoyable to watch. Video game movies have this stigma that cannot be really good video game movies are made. And I had long conversations with some of my man, shout out to my man Brad. We done had so many conversations about this. He wanted the movie to be good, I wanted the movie to be good. I think a lot of people wanted this movie to be good because I think we're long overdue for a good video game movie. And you know, with Sonic the Hedgehog doing well as they did, and Monster Hunter was kind of okay, but not really following this. What do you think? How do I feel about Mortal Kombat? It's a toss-up. It's disappointing, and I'm gonna tell you why. Now, I understand superhero movies and fighting game movies. The reason why I think it's disappointing, I understand superhero movies and fighting game movies are different. But if it wasn't for movies like Spider-Man and the Captain Americas and basically the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe, I would give kudos to this Mortal Kombat movie. Like, I would tell you this is probably one of the best video game movies out there. But since Sonic came out, and Sonic was a very good movie, it kind of falls in relation. It's very mediocre. Now, first things first, let me just start by saying this. The fight scenes, especially between Scorpion and Sub-Zero, they're very fire. I like them. I like the fact that there's blood and gore. I like the fact that there is fatalities. I like the fact that somewhat they kind of stick to the lore, but I also like the fact that, you know, some of the characters look like the characters. Except for Liu Kang and Kung Lao. They're not bad, but they're just, compared to like the 90s, like, I know Kung Lao was more or less on the show, but if you compare the 90s Liu Kang with this 2021 Liu Kang, I guarantee you everybody will pick the 90s Liu Kang. There's nothing wrong with this Liu Kang. I just like, he's more or less just too small. If you really, now I understand Liu Kang is based off of Bruce Lee, and Bruce Lee is kind of like that size and all that other stuff. I just thought he was too small. That's just me. And maybe this, like, if you like Liu Kang, that's cool. To me, he was just too small. And this is where, like, where I talk about the stuff that disappoints me right now. The story, like, don't get me wrong, like, the Mortal Kombat story is not all that great, but it's followable, and it's just like, this is not bad. But here, I don't like the story. First things first, Cole, the guy that played Cole, he should have been Liu Kang, to me. He looked like Liu Kang more than the Liu Kang that was playing Liu Kang. But as far as him being Cole, why was you there?
Paul, why is you here?
And this is the problem I have with the movies, and there's just like, I understand you're trying to bring a casual audience to go see this movie, but at the same time, this is a 20-year-old game. There's enough lore. It's not like you're not pulling out of nothing. There's enough lore in Mortal Kombat that you can pull somebody in that you don't need someone to introduce everybody to the fucking characters. If you do want to do that, I feel like you should have did somebody that's really into the game, like Johnny Cage. Why isn't Johnny Cage in this movie? I do not know. Let me just say this. The characters wasn't bad, but the script they gave them, it made them feel flat. Especially Sonya. Like she didn't even, like, the whole thing is people had marks. They had like the Mortal Kombat mark and all that other stuff. Sonya didn't have the mark. It was just like, and Raider was like, you don't even have a mark. And then I know they were looking at you like, oh, why is you here?
Paul, why is you here?
The girl that played her, I felt like it looked just like her. And I feel like from what she was getting, I felt like for the script, what they was giving, they did the best they could. In Mortal Kombat, I'm a big Kung Lao man. Like, I fucks with Kung Lao heavy. And Kung Lao is one of my favorite characters. He's flat. Like, don't get me wrong, he has a little cockiness, but not like the way the game is. I feel like the thing about Mortal Kombat that it knows it's cheesy, it knows it's over the top, like you should really go for that. Like, even though he had some cool scenes and he was kind of badass, I felt like there was more could have been done with him. Like, and the fact that, spoiler alert, they killed that man, and not only the way they killed, I do not like the way he went out. Like, Shang Tsung took his soul, and Liu Kang and this nigga Cole just watched him. Like, damn. Like, y'all not gonna save your mans and shit? He's supposed to be the man that's supposed to be helping everybody get their Arcana, which I thought was fucking stupid. Everything about that Arcana story and all that stuff, to me, it was fucking stupid. Jax had these little weak ass fucking arms, and then like his Arcana is he get these fucking big ass metal arms and shit. It was like, that's fucking stupid. Sonya beats up Kano, who, by the way, Kano is probably the most enjoyable part of this movie because he's actually a character. Even though Kano is like, even in the game, he's a great character. Like, he's a great bad guy. I feel like everybody else should have been. Like, to me, Kung Lao, if you would have seen Kung Lao in the game compared to this, you'd be like, damn, they kind of shorted Kung Lao. But also the fact that he fucking died, it blew me as a Kung Lao fan. And I'm like, they don't ever show my boy love. And that's how I felt. They don't ever show my boy love.
I now have a quarrel.
Now, there are some nitbits, some like nuggets of like MK lore that is thrown in there that you be like, oh, he done said that. Like the first, like when Jax first introduced us to Cole, when he first introduced himself to Cole, he was like, oh, you fought Eddie Tobias. And I was like, hey, that was one of the dudes that that was one of the original creators. And like, they did that for him. Like, there's a lot of like stuff in there. Cabal, I know a lot of people forget Cabal, but for some reason him having a Boston accent, it was funny to me because I didn't know Cabal was from Boston. Melina was there, and I felt like Reiko, I think that was Reiko. Like some of the villains, like Reiko, Cabal, like he at least had some funny lines. It's like, I just love the way it sounds when he sucks the souls or some shit like that shit made me laugh. But the fight scenes are okay. Like I said, Scorpion and Sub-Zero, which by the way, they're like at the beginning and at the end. Like, those are the only ones that is like really great. Everybody is just basic. Shout out to Makar Brooks. He did what he can, but his fight scene, he was just so fucking stiff. And the shaky, like some of the fights between Sonya and Kano, I don't know, it was really weird. I thought the fight between Cole and Goro, it was too dark. I was like, they could at least brighten up or at least like have something to light up the joint. It was, to me, I felt like that scene was too dark. I felt like if I have to brighten up the TV just to see a fight scene, well, like, why do I need to do that? Overall, even with all that, I do think it should get a sequel. And hopefully, Johnny Cage is, I hope they really do put Johnny Cage, because they did kind of hint him at the end. Who do I want to play as Johnny Cage? I know a lot of people are saying Ryan Reynolds, but I really do want The Miz. I think The Miz, like, if you put The Miz and the Johnny Cage on there from the game, they look just alike. And I know a lot of people want Ryan Reynolds because Ryan Reynolds is also, but I think The Miz, and I'm backing The Miz on this, I think The Miz should play Johnny Cage. I feel like he was born for that role. Like, that is him. Like, Johnny Cage is him. I think you should go for The Miz. Like, Ryan Reynolds is cool, phenomenal actor. Like, he got Deadpool and all that other stuff. I think The Miz should play Johnny Cage. And that's just my opinion on it. Even with all those nitpicks and like me talking about like the bad stuff that I didn't like, the movie is still watchable. The movie, like, I will still go back and watch it. I watched it like 3 times already, so it's still watchable. I still enjoyed myself. I do wish Sub-Zero Scorpion had more scenes. I don't know, like, I almost didn't like the fact that Sub-Zero was the bad guy, but I realized that was B-Han and not Kuai Lang. Like, if y'all understand the Mortal Kombat story, y'all will understand why. But B-Han being the bad guy or being a bad guy, I was like, okay, that fits. And I do love the outfits, especially like Scorpions and Sub-Zeros. And like, but I do wish like other characters shine more, like Lena and Reiko and Kung Lao. Like, don't get me wrong, Kung Lao got some fatality that it is true to the game. It's very true to the game. And he does stuff that is very true to the game, but I feel like they should have kept him around. Like, I really wish he didn't die in the movie. And that's just me, because I'm a Kung Lao fan, and I was going around saying Lao gang, and that's how I am in the joint. Like, if you see me play Mortal Kombat, I pick Kung Lao. That's it. He's one of my favorites. Swaggy, I call him the swaggiest fighting game character ever. I just like his style. But anyway, let me know what y'all thought about Mortal Kombat. Did y'all love it? Did y'all hate it? I think you should. I personally, if you haven't watched it, I would say go watch it. It's still a fun movie to watch. So let me know what y'all think. Tune in. My name is Oscino Fly, and I'm out. Peace.
Fancy ass man wear glove of rings, flying around town in a tub of wings. Found out how to make love to fiends. He mixing that fudge with the drug of dreams. She too teenage to have a drug of choice, but she fuck with that Royce like she love Detroit. She rolled.
Pharaoh.